24-hour cameras, wildlife sitcom and drama, emotional cliffhangers. Reality TV at its best. The difference? The actors, African wildlife. The set, the African bush. The scriptwriter and producer, Mother Nature.
Last time on Wildlife Diary, a new bull left huge footprints in the Adini Veldt. The cubs got to spend time with Zero while Maggie went hunting. Alf came off second best after tangling with Biggles. And Tashinga's male cub met face to face with his father, Ralani. The researchers report that Melissa's doing well in the face of stiff competition. The cheetah mother holds her own against an array of predatory forces. Even the Karongwe's wild dogs are trying their luck. Neither hyenas nor wild dogs are easily intimidated by a cheetah. In the dog-eat-dog world of the Karongwe Bushveld, some families are bound to do better than others. The pups show interest in this cub's performance, but are unfazed by it. Tia remains in the vicinity in the hope of picking up a snack. Melissa is unhappy with the state of affairs. It happens all too often that the slightly built cheetahs are dislodged from their kills. But she needn't worry this time. The cubs are fat, full, and happy. They ate more than enough before the dogs came along. In fact, Melissa can justifiably give herself a well-earned pat on the back. This time, Zero and Lisa baffle the experts. Alf's in a bad way. The new nomadic bull elephant goes out for the count. And a warthog puts up a brave show. The Chippenbury recently acquired a 200-kilogram babysitter. Zero was tasked with looking after Max and Moby while Maggie went hunting. The cubs greatly enjoyed spending time with their role model. These days, Zero allocates much of his resources to keeping an eye on the sub-adults. At the moment, an uneasy truce prevails. Zero remains firmly in the driving seat. For their part, the sub-adults stay out of his way. Both parties know that sooner or later something's got to happen. Maggie is firmly in Zero's camp on this one. But today, Zero has other things on his mind. His interest lies not with Maggie, but with Lisa. The researchers note Lisa's slim profile. Clearly, she's no longer pregnant. Maggie takes her cubs out of the way. This is between Zero and Lisa. 3 is definitely a crowd in this case. The researchers scratch their heads. Lisa must be an estrus, but why? She's only just given birth. The evening confirms everyone's suspicion. Lisa behaves in an extremely flirtatious manner. She's definitely in the mood for love. Zero can't believe his luck. The researchers observe Zero's performance with concern. The only possible explanation for Lisa coming into estrus so soon after the birth of her cubs is that Zero must have killed them. Lions copulate every 15 minutes for extended periods. The researchers were under the impression that Zero had accepted his brother Felix's cubs. Otherwise, Max and Moby would have long been dealt with. Zero killing Lisa's cubs in order to bring her into Estrus is completely out of character for him, although not out of character for male lions in general. Lisa's half-hearted approach to mating perhaps signals the end of the honeymoon. Meanwhile, Luma is getting up to mischief. The young sub-adult has no business contemplating taking on a rhino. He's definitely his father's child. The romantic crescent moon gives way to yet another action-filled morning. Lisa makes the finale a good one. She doesn't even bother to flop onto her back this time. It's over. Zero takes the hint and heads for home. Or so it appears. The researchers follow Lisa and make an astounding discovery. 3 young cubs alive and well back at the den. The mystery deepens. Why has she come into Estrus so soon after giving birth? They speculate that it was her ruse to distract Zero from killing the infants. Whatever the reason, the circumstances are highly unusual. As a rule, a lioness conceives and gives birth only every 2 years. The sneaky Zero has followed her back to the den. Lisa anticipates any move he might make. He may be the man of the moment, but she's not taking any chances. Wisely, Zero retires, but not before getting a good look at the 3 cubs. Lisa decides to move the den site just in case. Will her plan work, or could Zero's thoughts turn to the death of her cubs, despite copulating with her for the last 72 hours? Still to come, the wandering big bull in Taba is relocated for his own good, and Alf struggles to recover from his injuries. The Adini section recently witnessed the arrival of a colossal bull elephant dubbed Intaba by the researchers. Madala, the big cheese in the bachelor herd, appears juvenile by comparison. Today will prove disturbing for the elephants of the Korongwe. Already the female herd senses something's not right and responds with agitation. But today's events have nothing to do with them. The researchers have made the difficult decision to dart and relocate Intaba. Veterinary surgeon Dr. Pete Rogers will supervise this weighty task. The process is fraught with dangers. It requires a professional with a thorough knowledge of wildlife and the effects of powerful narcotics. Intaba will be darted from a helicopter. The ground crew follows the helicopter's lead. Intaba is a wanderer by nature. Researchers have been tracking his progress for some weeks now. They first took an interest in this huge bull when he was spotted crossing Conservancy boundaries over 40 kilometers away. The helicopter circles overhead, identifying Intaba's location for the ground crew. By the time the ground crew arrives, Intaba is already immobilized. Time is now of the essence. The quicker this stressful procedure is completed, the better it will be for the elephant. The support crew hacks away at the scrub to give access to Intaba's transport vehicle. A prop holds the end of the bull's trunk open, ensuring a clear airway. Researchers take the opportunity to measure Intaba's statistics. The flatbed truck will ferry him to his new home. The crew must first harness the sleeping giant for the crane to lift him onto the vehicle. Intaba's bulk places enormous pressure on his internal organs when he's not in an upright position. The crew members look concerned as the operation enters a critical phase. Move too quickly, he dies. Move too slowly, he dies. The researchers did not take the decision to relocate Intaba lightly, but his wandering ways would have eventually taken him into the proximity of human settlements, resulting in an almost certain death sentence. Transferring him to a protected game reserve is the only option available. Karongwe's manager, Philip Owen, performs just another of many checks on the elephant's airway. The crew keeps Intaba's body moist to counteract a rise in body temperature. The animal's unconscious state prevents him from flapping his ears to thermoregulate. Intaba's sizable volume entails a few bits and pieces dangling over the side of the flatbed. The crew members leave his legs harnessed to the crane to stabilize them for the journey. The onset of nightfall and the accompanying drop in temperature alleviates some of the concerns about the elephant's body temperature. Fortunately, the researchers found Intaba a secure home less than an hour's drive from the Karongwe Conservancy. The short journey significantly lessens the stress on the animal. Offloading the bulky herbivore at night is even more nerve-wracking than loading him up in broad daylight. The next morning, Intaba resurrects himself none the worse for wear, as though nothing had happened. The question on everyone's mind now is, will Intaba's new home curb his wanderlust? Last time, the Mundulia section provided the battleground for a vicious conflict between Alf and Biggles. Alf came off second best. The fight had an extremely depressing effect on the pups, especially when they saw the severity of Uncle Alf's injuries. A few days later, the shattered relationships in the pack have yet to be patched up. Alf keeps a low profile, preferring to lick his wounds rather than participate in group activities. With every passing day, water becomes increasingly scarce. This is a dangerous situation for the pups. Alf unsteadily tags along to the waterhole, but maintains his distance. The researchers are worried. He's sustained far greater injuries than the last time the two males came to blows. The pack struggles to find drinkable patches of water. The seriousness of Alf's wounds and Biggles' apparent lack of any damage point to Duchess's involvement in the scrap. On the previous occasion, she not only joined Biggles in assaulting Alf, but instigated the clash. Her complicity in this latest incident seems likely. A 2-against-1 scenario would explain Alf's brutal beating. The pups search the mud for possible water seepage. The end of the wintry dry season is a harsh time for all the animals on the Karongwe. Duchess finds it difficult to navigate over the soft, muddy surface. The sinking sensation is unfamiliar to her. Alf's injuries make it impossible for him to get anywhere near the water. Duchess thinks twice about drinking from the remaining pool of fetid water. The pups haven't given up yet. But Duchess leaves off her attempt to drink. She has much weightier issues to consider, such as repairing the fragmented social bonds in the pack. Alf and Biggles, failing to forgive and forget, will compromise the hunting potential of the group. Eventually, the pups will go hungry, a situation which Duchess cannot allow. With no food on the table and fast vanishing water stocks, Duchess's family is in grave danger. She takes the initiative. Alf responds loyally, but understandably wary. The female persists with her overtures. Biggles pointedly ignores her attempts to smooth over the cracks and pretends to focus his attention on Moxie. The pups sense that their mother could make a breakthrough here and regain some of their exuberance. Alf's in no state to smoke the peace pipe. His infected wounds are painful and debilitating. Will he recover, or is this the end of the road for him? Coming up, a courageous warthog makes a last stand against R'Lani. Last time, R'Lani's desire to eat spared the life of his male offspring in a face-to-face encounter. Today, in the Dry Manati, R'Lani continues his obsessive quest for food. The prey animals in the area detect a problem. But it's too late for the warthog. R'Lani clamps down on the trachea. Death is inevitable. R'Lani has learned his lesson well. Get the goods up a tree before Tia and the girls arrive. But the leopard has bitten off more than he can chew. The hefty warthog could easily weigh in at 80 kilograms, pipping R'Lani's own body weight by a good 5 to 10 kilograms. Using his phenomenal strength, the cat makes good progress in dragging the warthog, but his plan to tree the victim seems a bit optimistic at this point. Exhaustion sets in. R'Lani's going to have to take his chances on the ground this time. A family of bush pigs catches the leopard's attention. R'Lani's in two minds. Should he leave the warthog unattended while he bags a pig? He decides to pursue the hors d'oeuvre and return for the main course later. The bush pigs notice a change in the ambient noise of the bush. Monkeys, birds, and other species signal the approach of the leopard as R'Lani strolls in the direction of pig squeals. Meanwhile, the warthog is down, but by no means out. He seizes on R'Lani's absence to mount an escape. If he can regain mobility, he might just be able to sneak away before the leopard catches up with the plot. R'Lani focuses on the pigs, carefully choosing a victim. The warthog is dazed and in agony. He gathers his wits amidst the pain. Still, R'Lani doesn't pick up that his killer's come to life. The leopard scans the bush leisurely. The last thing on his mind is the possibility of the warthog making off. Somehow, the animal draws on his reserves and picks up the pace of the getaway. So far, so good. But can the mortally wounded warthog sustain his steady progress out of the danger zone? He realizes that the game is up and desperately tries to hide. R'Lani can't believe the cheek of it. The warthog makes a last-ditch bid for freedom. The leopard knows the extent of the animal's injuries. He casually takes his time in acting. The warthog freezes with terror as R'Lani circles around. Panicking blindly, the prey swivels, looking for any opportunity to survive, however slim. R'Lani's in no hurry. This warthog's going nowhere. Minutes later, the leopard tires of his cat-and-mouse tactics and puts an end to the game. The warthog refuses to accept the inevitability of the situation. He goes down kicking and struggling to the last. R'Lani's recent focus on finding food will wane with the onset of the summer rains. What does the future hold for Tishinga's and Yanina's male cubs when R'Lani turns his attention to other matters? Next time on Wildlife Diary, Lisa shows off her cubs to the pride. The wild dogs once more make peace with each other. Researchers discover a wounded leopard. And Flippy gets up to his old tricks.